A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Inshallah, in this lesson we are going to touch very briefly on the second characteristic of an ism. The first one was Arab that we have already covered, alhamdulillah. And the second one is status, which simply means that an ism is either going to be Nakrah or it's going to be Marfah. Now, what is ism Nakrah and Marfah? Nakrah simply means any random thing that doesn't hold any exclusivity to it. Okay, so if I say, for example, a book or any book, okay, it simply means that that particular book is simply random. Okay, it doesn't hold any exclusivity to it, therefore it's Nakrah. Okay, and in Arabic it is shown by the help of tanween. All right, and that is something that we have already covered in lesson number 3 of this catch-up series. Opposite to ism Nakrah is something that holds some kind of exclusivity, and that of course is ism Marfah. So any kind of exclusivity causes an ism to be Marfah. Okay, and what those reasons are that can cause an ism to be in Marfah status is something that we are going to enumerate in this lesson today, inshallah. Okay, so as you can see on the slide, there are 7 reasons for an ism to be Marfah, and well, the first one, the one on the top, is quite obvious. All right, and it's not something that is specific only to Arabic. In fact, it's true for every language, because it's the name of that person, of any person. Okay, so for example, Zaidun, that is the name, all right, of a person, and it is obviously ism Marfah. Okay, and as you can see, it is munsarif because it has this tanween. All right, another example could be Fatima too. This word is ghair munsarif, as you might have already covered or understood from the previous lesson, the 10th lesson of catch-up series, in which I told the differences between the ghair munsarif, munsarif and mabni asma. The ghair munsarif asma are the ones that do not carry a tanween, and their nasab and jar forms are identical, while their rafa form is different. So rafa form is Fatimatu, while the nasab and jar forms are Fatima ta. Alright, so this was our ism alam, which is obvious that it is ism marfa. The second reason for an ism to be marfa is that it is prefixed with the prefix of al. Now, what does al mean in Arabic? It means the. Okay, so if I say a book, it's kitabun, and if I say al kitabu, it means the book. Okay, and do notice I said al kitabu and not al kitabun. All right, because tanween shows nakra, while al signifies that it is marfa. So there is no such thing as the book or the book in any language. Similarly, in Arabic, al-kitabun does not exist because there is no such thing in existence. Okay, something, anything, everything rather is either marfa or nakra. There is no, there's nothing in between, and it can most certainly can't be, it cannot ever be both. Okay, therefore al-kitabu and not al-kitabun. Okay, so that's what. Then the next reason for an ism to be in Marfa status is that it's a pronoun. Okay, so for example, we all know what pronouns are. They are the words that we use in place of some other ism in order to avoid repetition. Okay, for example, he, she, it, they. All right, all of these words are your Marfa. All right, pronouns, and all pronouns are Marfa. Then the next reason for an ism to be marfa is that it is being called out to. So an ism that is being called out to is called munada. Nida is call, and munada is the one that is being called. Okay, so for example, we have ya zaidu. Notice the word zaidu here does not have a tanween, but that is because it has been attached with ya. All right, and that's the only reason. There's no other reason for it to lose its tanween in this condition, in this example. So ya zaidu, hey Zaid. Okay, now this word Zaid, Here is munada because it is being called out to, and well, it is marfa, and it is marfa because of two reasons. Because first of all, it is ism alam, and secondly, because it is being called out to, or simply it is because it is munada. Similarly, if you have ya waladu, hey boy, okay, so you're calling out some particular boy, and since you are using it with ya, you simply chuck the tanween away, you replace it with a single harkat of rafa form, ya waladu. Okay, we are going to touch on all these in very much detail, okay, so you don't need to worry or cram these things in your minds just at this moment. Only remember what I ask you to remember, otherwise don't burden your mind at all, okay. Good things come to those who wait. All right, so you don't need to worry about these things just until and unless I tell you to. So done with these four reasons. Next we have connectors. What are connectors? Connecting nouns are the ones that we are actually quite familiar with due to our recitation, and we are familiar with the words allazi and allazina, right? Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. All right, so allazi and allazina, it translates to the word who. Now what is the concept behind these words? Let's say I say the boy who topped the class, okay. Now topped the class, this is the detail of this boy, all right. uh, so this boy, or this phrase the boy, this is the main ism, okay, and topped the class, this is your additional detail that is being connected to the main ism by the help of a particular word who. All right, so who here does not mean a question, it doesn't ask a question, but it is actually joining this detail with its main ism. All right, therefore it's called a connecting noun, or simply connectors in Arabic. All right, the boy who lived, for example, or the room where it's all hidden, or the place where I grew up. All right, so you see how, where, who, what, and all these words, they are actually connecting nouns as well, because of course they are primarily the questions, the words with which we ask questions. All right, the however, they also serve the function of connecting nouns. All right. Alright, so after connectors we have pointers. All the pointers such as this, that, those, these, alright, they are considered to be marfa. For example, haza, it means this. Alright, so all the pointing nouns are considered to be marfa. Alright, finally we have the muzaf of marfa. What is muzaf? We did muzaf ilayh in the previous lesson about majroor, in the lesson where I told you the conditions for an ism to be in jar state. All right, so we did muzaf ilayh there, which is always majroor. What's muzaf? All right, so let's give you an example so that you, even if you haven't watched that lesson, you can understand it here, inshallah. So for example, if I say book of a boy, all right, who's the possessor? A boy, right? He owns the book. What is being possessed? Book. So the fancy terminology for something that is possessed is muzaf, and the fancy terminology for something or someone that owns or possesses that muzaf is muzaf ilayh. In this case, this. All right, muzaf ilayh. So these were your terminologies. Possessor is muzaf ilayh and possessed is muzaf. Okay, now what you need to remember is that if the muzaf ilayh, or simply the possessor, is marfa due to any reason, then automatically that possessed item is also going to become exclusive and therefore marfa. All right, so let's see. If I, for example, write book of a boy, here muzaf ilayh is not marfa but nakrah. because of this a. And if I write book of the boy is Marfah because of this the. Therefore, automatically this Muzaf, which is this book, also becomes Marfah. This is the only thing that this point signifies. If an ism is Muzaf of Marfah, alright, then it is automatically going to be Marfah itself. Alright, so book of a boy, Nakrah, Muzaf alayh, therefore Nakrah, possessed or Muzaf, and the boy is Marfa because of the, therefore the word book, which is Muzaf here, is also going to be Marfa. Alright, so like dissolves like, that's what we studied in chemistry, and that's where it also comes into play. Okay, so if the Muzafila is Marfa, or simply the possessor is Marfa, then the possessed is also Marfa, and vice versa. Alright, so this was our Muzaf being Marfa if the Muzafila is Marfa. And I hope that now this slide, which seemed or might have seemed a bit scary in the beginning of the lesson when I had not explained these things, is now beginning to make sense and is, looking a little less scary, inshallah. So in the next lesson, inshallah, we are going to study some more points about al, and then move on to number. All right, then and then we're going to continue our journey onwards, inshallah. But right now I hope that I have clarified the 7 situations that can cause or that can lead an ism to be categorized as Marfa. All right, so these are the 7 reasons. Super easy and quite obvious, really. So keep on practicing the Rafa Nasab Jar forms, alright, that we have already studied. And if you haven't just yet watched the Arab lessons, then I would really urge you to go and watch those lessons, because those lessons are gems of Arabic, really. Okay, because if you know what's Rafa, what's Nasab, what's Jar, you can do wonders, really. Okay, so well, this was our lesson. Let's conclude it now, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Inshallah. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'anil Hakim. Allah Hafiz.